guys, I am back in the kitchen working on this bone broth. This is my first time making bone broth. What I did, I cooked it yesterday, the turkey carcass with onions, carrots, celery, and some of my fresh thyme and sage, as well as some dried parsley. So because it was ready, I guess the longer you simmer it, the better it is. So I had it simmering. All the windows were full of condensation yesterday, even though the simmer burner is, I had it as low as I could go, but it still was heating over, so I had to leave the lid ajar, which of course causes a lot of condensation inside, and the whole house smells like a big onion. So what I did last night, I put the whole pot in the sink with ice packs because you're supposed to cool it as quickly as possible, according to the one video I watched. So I've got my bone broth all strained. I felt really guilty throwing out all the meat that I strained out. My goodness, there was a lot of meat still on that carcass, and I just don't have time. Now, it did go to the chickens, so, you know, this time of year the girls need some extra protein. I've got somebody eating an egg again, and that's usually because they need some extra. The girls that need to grow back their feathers, that'll be good for them. So I threw it in what we call the rot pile by the chicken coop, and everybody got treats today. I feel terrible. I feel just so guilty throwing that much away. There was quite a bit there, but then of course you've got to pick it all apart from all the mushy onions and carrots, and I just don't have time. So I am going to get this bone broth canned, and you do have to put it in a pressure canner. The other thing I was afraid of, I'm one of those people that was afraid for a long time to even use the pressure canner. I've done a couple of videos using it on the wood stove, but I don't really feel like heating up the wood stove today. So I was told, or I looked online, and I was learned that this canner, you're not supposed to use it on a propane stove. And of course everybody says, well, I do. Well, I've seen too many pictures of the lids exploding and lodged in the ceiling, and you know, the hood fan and the cabinets are all gone and everything, and it just makes me scared. So what I did was I got the manual out for this gas range, and because it is propane, it's the off-grid propane unique range, and these burners are a little different than the other one. So what I did was I looked, the propane ones, even the strongest one is 12,000 BTUs. That's that double one. They call it a double one at the back, that the flames were coming right out around the pot. So the strongest one is 11,000, and the manual for my canner says not to use outdoor LP burner or a gas range over 12,000 BTUs. So my hottest burner doesn't go that high. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try putting it on the one that is the front left, the one the broth is on right now, is 8,500. If I can achieve my temperatures and my pressure with that burner, then I'll just do that, because I feel safer. This is, you know, it's lower than what they say not to use, but if I can get my pressure and everything with the 8,500 one, then I'm going to do that. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong chart, but the numbers are the same. As the natural gas and the liquid propane numbers are the same for the burners. So I had this manual handy. I got it out last night to double check, because I'm still a little, I'm not totally, I wouldn't call myself totally comfortable pressure canning. I'm getting there. But I had this thing for years and was afraid to use it, and now I'm using it. I found on the wood stove it was easy. We'll see how easy it is to adjust it on this off-grid propane range. I think I've got about 6 quarts, so that should be about 12 of the half-pint jars, and I've got them in here. My oven keeps going off. I don't know if it's because it's new, so I keep checking. I can tell now when it comes off, when it goes off, because I come in and all I can smell is gas, because the flame has gone out. So That's why I have the window open too. Hard to do videos without roosters crowing, but anyway, that's why I have the window open, because this thing keeps going off and I just don't know if I'm not turning it on right, I'm not giving it enough gas or what. Anyway, gonna heat this up. I've got my jars heating, gonna get my lids organized, and then I will get them in the canner and get that done while we go do something else. So my broth is hot, my jars are hot. I'm just going to heat some water up to boiling to sterilize my lids, and I'm pretty much ready to go. Okay, I've got this sterilized. Got my jars out of the, I can sort of, I think it's the jars I hear kind of sizzling, so I am famous for burning myself, so I'm going to try and be careful here. See if I can do this for a change without burning myself. The lids haven't boiled yet, so I'll leave them go a little bit longer. Let's see if I can do this without getting... okay. Too hot. I didn't think it could be too hot, but it is. So that's a new thing for me. I guess I've always heated my jars in the oven, so not sure. I've only had jars break before when hot meat's cold. So anyway, I guess the jars were too hot. I can still feel the heat radiating off them. This is pretty hot. It was boiling. So I will, they've been here, I don't know whether to try another one and crack another jar or what. I don't really want to break a bunch of my jars. But I didn't think they could be too hot, actually. I put, you know, boiling jam and pie filling and stuff like that. Maybe I should put a little bit. This has never happened before, but I said at the beginning of this channel that, you know, like, everybody makes mistakes. Most people make videos with, you know, everything just goes perfectly. Well, I think it's better to show people the mistakes you make. And that's a learning experience for me, because I haven't had that happen before. I've only ever had it happen when I was silly enough to put stuff in a jar, like a cold jar, in something that was hot, or vice versa. So I will put a little bit of liquid in each one and then fill them up, and I think that should be fine. They have been on the counter for a few minutes now too, so I'll just do it this way. No big deal. I should try and get my jars a little closer. I find this 2-cup ladle really difficult to use because of my arms and, well, my wrists basically. It's very heavy. So I'll put a scoop in each jar, and then that'll have each jar nice and hot. Well, with hot liquid in it anyway. And then we should be away to the races. Chris has got my steak ready, so I gotta get these in the canner. Now I better go back and fill up the first ones, because I might end up with not having enough to do the 11 jars, and I don't want to dirty the jars if I don't have to. Now we're doing a 1-inch head space, and that usually is to right where the neck of the jar starts. So I sort of use that as a guide rather than getting the little measuring tool out. I only do that usually when it's supposed to be a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, and my eyeballs aren't what they used to be, so. I also have a cooked turkey carcass that I have to get into the pot after I get this broth out of the pot. to get it cooking, and I'll have another batch tomorrow. I've been meaning to try this for a really long time, and finally, well, I didn't have any choice. I needed to make room in the freezer for this year's chickens and this year's turkeys and everything else from this year that needs to go in there. Oops, try not to knock the jars over. I have one of these stainless steel ladles in a 1 cup as well. I find it a lot easier on my hands, but I will finish this up and try to stop whining. I checked on online with my canner manufacturer too, and I am allowed to put double-decker in this canner, so I'm going to use this rack in between. I think I checked and it will hold 9 of this size jar, so I'll just put these 2 jars out of the way. They're still a little warm, not too bad though. I have been noticing I usually just wash the rims with a dish rag that I've sterilized in the hot water as well, but I've noticed people doing vinegar on paper towel, so I'm going to do that today and just wipe these rims with some vinegar. It's a shame this canner holds 9 in the bottom. I'll have to put 1 on the second level. But I did check yesterday online to make sure that I could do that. And now at least I'll kind of have an idea of how many jars I get when this stock, with this stock pot. I'm looking at buying a really big one online. I would like to have been able to get those 2 carcasses in the same batch. It would have been nice. I'm a big batch person. I like to get stuff done. But the ones online, I find it really hard to find stainless steel ones. I won't cook in aluminum. We all know the dangers now of aluminum and cooking with aluminum. I had an aluminum set of pots and pans when I was very young, my first set of pots and pans I bought, and of course we now know that that is not good for you. And the pressure canner is aluminum. I looked online to see if the American canners were stainless steel, and when you Google them it says it is, but yeah, they are not. They're aluminum. So I would like to be able to pressure can stock inside the pressure canner food, but I won't do it. I don't know if that's good or not. Okay, so let's get these rings on. I took them out of the water. Get them, or sorry, lids. I'm looking at the rings and picking up the lids. And again, I had extra lids sterilized just in case I need them. Get these placed on there. Try and center them. Can't find a little magnetic tool for doing this. And the other thing I read in the instructions was you're supposed to put hot water in the pressure canner to start with, which I did not know. So here I've been using it. Here I am afraid of blowing the place up. And I've been, yeah, maybe coming close to blowing the place up. I don't know. But try and keep that lid centered, just finger tight. Don't tighten the lids down. Most people know that, but there are a lot of young people out. There's sort of a revival now, I think, in, homesteading skills and canning and all that sort of thing, and it's nice to see the young people wanting to learn. That lid feels funny to me. It might be bent. So it's nice to see people trying to learn. And of course, you know, people like myself, my grandma's long gone, and we didn't live close to her. We moved out west, so I didn't have anybody to teach me anything. So I guess that's why YouTube is so great. People can go online and learn just about anything. Okay, I've got my 10 jars in there. This is locked and loaded, and I'm gonna try, like I said, using this burner. I have found that if a big pot is over the burner when you're trying to start it, it doesn't work that well, so I will put it on there now. Okay, this is going to be a new thing for me too, because I have not used this pressure canner on this stove, and I don't know how long it will take to heat up. We've got to let the steam go for 10 minutes. This handle on the bottom's a little loose. I think I'll get Chris to look at that. But we've got to wait till that blows steam for 10 minutes. The lid pops up, and then we can put our little thingy on. Wait. So I will be back. So I went and quickly ate my steak, and I'm a fast eater anyway. Came back in. I had this on this front burner, left burner. That's the 8500 BTU. It was like, my goodness, it looked like it was going to explode. And I was only gone 10 minutes. It was already steaming like crazy, so obviously it heats up very quickly on the stove. I turned it off and went and got Chris. I did tighten that handle up, by the way. So I moved it to the simmer. Excuse me. And the simmer is one it's on now, and it's still steaming like crazy. So it's been steaming for 10 minutes. I will put the weight on and then see how long it takes to build up pressure, because wow, this was shocking. There we go. I used my oven mitts so I won't burn myself. So we'll see how long this takes for that back vent to close and for it to start building pressure. I need 10 pounds and for 20 minutes. So the vent just popped up. Wish I had timed that, but I didn't. See how long it pops up after I put the weight on. It wasn't very long, maybe 5 minutes at the very most. So my pressure has reached 10 pounds. I've turned the burner down as low as I can go, so hopefully it will hold at 10 pounds. Yikes. See, this is why I like the wood stove so much. I could just move it back and forth by an inch or whatever, and this adjusting propane to do this sort of thing to me is a little scarier. So this has gone a tiny bit past 10, so I'm just keeping an eye on it. I've got the stove as low as I can go. If I can't maintain my pressure with this burner, I will not do it again on the stove. I will only do it on the wood stove. Now, if I was needing 12, 13, or 15 pounds of pressure, maybe it would be perfect. I don't know. But to get this low pressure, I'm just making it. So this is at about 12 now, so it's starting to scare me a little. So I just turned the burner off, and I will just let it drop a little and turn the burner back on and see if that works. Because I still have 10 minutes to go. I'm only halfway through, and I don't want it to go on to 15 or something if it's not supposed to for this broth. It is dropping quickly, so I will let it drop just below 10, and then I will turn it back on, turn the burner back on. As long as it doesn't lose pressure, I guess that should work. Meanwhile, I am getting my cooked carcass ready. I cut it in half. Now this one was a much smaller carcass. The raw carcass was from a 30-pound turkey. This one was about 19 or 20. So it's much smaller. I just broke it in half to get it in the pot. Put a couple carrots, a couple celery stalks, a big onion. I'm not going to put the sage and thyme in this one because I think I'll do a taste test. You know, sometimes simpler is better. I will put the parsley flakes in that it called for, and then I will leave it at that. Of course, this one being a cooked one actually was stuffed with the rice stuffing that I love so much. I hate bread stuffing. So that'll add a lot of flavor to this one, I think. So that is back up to about 12 and a half. And I only have a minute left on my timer, so I just turned the stove off. Now the other thing in the instructions, it says to turn the stove off and remove it from the burner. I never did that in the past. I just, you know, well, the wood stove I would take it off. But anyway, I'm going to put it over here on something that's heat proof and get it off the burner, and then I can get my next batch of stock on. It does go down really quickly once you turn the burner off. It's just, I find that really fiddly compared to the wood stove, which is kind of what I expected. Okay, that's off the burner. This is on the burner. Just cover it with enough water to cover the carcass, and I will get this heated up and then transfer to the simmer. My goodness, these burners are hot. So the pressure released. I have, that's my steam from the other batch. These are still very, very hot, so I'm going to let them cool a little longer before I lift them out of here. But nothing's cracked and nothing exploded. Boy, it's getting chilly. Go see if I can see my little Henrietta. See if she's okay. She was hanging out with different groups of chickens today, so it seems she is fully integrated into their gathering here, which is such a silly place. But I don't think she's one of these ones. That's the little yellow-legged one. There's the other two buffs. Maybe she has gone in early. Oh, is that her there? Let me see, that's 3. I gotta count chickens. There's 3 over there, so yeah, I don't think that's her. Let's see if she's in here again. She was in pretty early. Nope. She is! What a good girl! And you're beside one of the crabbiest chickens again. Wilma, Screechy Face. Yeah, one of those crabby Snow or White was picking on you last night, weren't they? That's a good girl. Oh, I'm so happy. Makes me so happy that she's doing so well. These are starting to come in and get on their little perch. Oh, that speckled one is the prettiest, and I'm pretty sure that's a rooster. Oh, they're all chattering in here. It's all hens in here. Oh, that's so... I'm trying to figure out why it's so quiet in here. It's because there's no bloody roosters. Oh my goodness. Just my sweet buddy. Yes. Just the nice boy. Those horrible boys are in the other run, aren't they? And just look how calm and quiet everything is. Oh my goodness. I will probably go in again tonight and put these guys in on the bottom perch there. And because they're all trying to perch, you know, in this little brooder pen that we made. So I want them to get into the habit, and they were using the ladder, getting the habit of going in there to the lower rung where they should be. Oh, that one's looking like a rooster too. Are you a rooster? Oh my goodness. I think we should separate out a couple more roosters tomorrow.